tonight's episode of Impact was quite interesting, and let's get straight into it. The first segment of the show was Trick Williams. He started to show off. Trick Williams started to show off. He cut a promo, and it was actually a solid promo, but the fans chanting "what" is kind of what threw me off, and it didn't bring down the grade that I gave this show, but I think just the fans chanting "what" is so annoying. It's so old and tired that. But yeah, Joe Hendry, he came out there, no talking, got straight into the brawl segment. It was pretty good. You had Joe Hendry taking out referees and officials and stuff, so he'll probably get a fine next week. But him and Trick having a match at Battleground for the TNA Championship, it's a great idea. I do think Trick Williams should win that match. I think it'll help with the partnership, because at some point, these titles have to change hands between the companies. Like, if you're going to have a partnership, then the championship's going to change hands at least once. You can't just have a partnership and the championships never change hands. And then you get into the first match of the show, and it was Rosemary versus Lei Ching Lee, and this was a bad match. The match was super slow paced. The spots were really bad. Zara Brookside was terrible on commentary, and I love Zara Brookside, but as a wrestler, she doesn't need to be on commentary, even if it is for the story. She does not have a voice. She doesn't have the skills to be on commentary, at least not yet. Probably gonna need some more time to work on that. But she's good in ring, so let's just keep her there. Let's keep Zara Brookside away from the commentary table. But the match, like I said, super slow paced. It wasn't a good match. Zara Brookside added to it when Rosemary tried to use the brass knuckles and she took them away, leading to Lei Ching Lee getting a win. And obviously they have a friendship, so her getting that win was important for her. And Rosemary taking this loss was fine. It helps build the story. But this match wasn't great. It wasn't good. Like, Rosemary and Zara Brookside, once they running back, that's going to be a good match. But I just don't think she had good chemistry with Lei Ching Lee. They might just have to have some more matches, have some more tag team matches to build chemistry with each other. But this wasn't a good one-on-one match. It wasn't terrible. Wasn't the worst thing ever. But it wasn't good either. And then you had this backstage interaction with Trick Williams and Mike Santana staring each other down. It was pretty cool, because if Trick was to win, he could have a match against Mike Santana as he tries to get the title back to TNA, because he's one of the TNA vets there, so you could make a story out of that. But then what really caught my eye was AJ Francis, and when Mike Santana went to Sami Callihan and just gave him his respect, and AJ Francis and Casey Navarro came back there, and they was being disrespectful to KC, and AJ Francis was like, I'm the only person that can disrespect Casey Navarro. It's me. And that got KC thinking. He was like, what do you mean by that? So then he was just thrown off through the entire segment. He was like, man, what do you mean by that? So it really had him wondering. So yeah. And if y'all wonder why I'm going super quick with the recap, it's because I'm doing this at 11:06 right now. I was on Shout Out Black Couch Book, and I was on this live stream, so I had to catch back up on the final hour of Impact. So the daily uploads do continue, but getting right back into the action. The Great Hands versus the Aztecs Warriors, which is Laredo Kid and Octagon Jr. You had the Great Hands talk a lot of trash before the match, and ended up losing. And the match was a mediocre match. I didn't really enjoy it. Then you had Mustafa Ali come out there after the match and attack the Aztecs Warriors, but they lost clean. So it's like, it was just kind of random. And then Tasha Steelz, the Great Hands, are trying to get Ali to stop, and he just won't stop until the Rascals come out there. Then you go into a match with Mustafa Ali and Trey Miguel, and this was the best match of the night, in my opinion. I really enjoyed this. Mustafa Ali, Trey Miguel, they showed great chemistry in the ring. They had some good spots. Obviously, the Great Hands got involved. Actually, Wentz was involved. Tasha Steelz, she interfered in the match for Ali to get the win. But this played well and played better into a story with them against the Rascals. I think the Rascals and the Great Hands, they could be a good tag team match they could do next week maybe, or around Under Siege, to have them in a tag team division, because the Nimbus are going to need some opponents during their championship reign. So I think the Rascals, you probably want to build them back up, get them back in the title scene at some point. So yeah, I enjoyed that. That was one of the better parts of the show. And then you had Mustafa Ali. They showed a replay from last year of Under Siege with Mustafa Ali and Ace Austin. I just think that was unnecessary. Like, the flashbacks are cool, but it's not needed. There's other stuff for you to do to keep, and it didn't even build a story or anything. It's other stuff you can do. Then after that, you had Indy Hartwell. She did like a segment, really just introducing herself to the TNA people. Obviously, most TNA fans know who she is because most TNA fans probably watch the WWE, and this is her 9th year of professional wrestling. So shout out Indy Hartwell. Hope she keeps going strong. She said that she wants to be the knockout. So could she win a championship? Maybe she could be the one to. She could win a championship this year. She'll definitely win a championship in TNA. Now, how fast that comes, not sure, because not everything has to come fast. It might take some time, but she's gonna make a name for herself in the knockouts division. I can't wait to see who her first match is against. And hoping her first match is like an actual feud, and then because TNA, when they bring people back, they bring people in. They usually have them start off with something quick. I uh, hope they have something instant ready for her to do, even if it's a backstage segment with somebody that leads to something. So I think that'll be good for Indy Hartwell. The Hardy Boys, they spoke for the first time after losing back-to-back matches to the Nimbus, once in a tag team match for the titles, then in a 6-man tag team match last week, and there was like no excuses for why we lost, but we won our titles back. So the Nimbus brothers come out there, and Ryan, he was like, then the Nimbus was like they can get that rematch in Under Siege, and then Nikki mentions how Jeff is banned from Canada, so it can't happen, and it's supposed to be a ladder match for the titles, but we don't know when we're getting that. And then Santino came out there and he was like, it's going to be Jeff Hardy versus Nick Nemeth next week. And then at Under Siege, it's going to be Matt Hardy and a partner of his choosing versus Nemeth brothers. That partner will likely be Leon Slater, but I think we're past that now. I think Leon Slater should do other stuff now. He should keep doing stuff with the system because it's a 2-on-2 feud between the Hardys and the Nemeth brothers. Obviously, Leon Slater was involved and he was the closest with the Hardys, but they don't need him right now. Just because he's banned from Canada, just save it for the next week or do it on the Impact before if you're still in the States for that. I think that would make more sense. I don't know. I don't like that you got to find a replacement for him in the match. And then the show picked up once again once Victoria Crawford made her TNA debut match. This is her first match. She made her debut last week. This was her debut match. She ended up pinning Brittany Brooks, who's the girlfriend of Chris Bay. So prayers up to Chris Bay as he recovers from his scary neck injury from last year. Brittany got some solid moves in, but at the end of the day, Victoria, she was going to win regardless. And she had a good showing. She looked solid in the ring. Hopefully she keeps wrestling up to her match against Masha. She will be wrestling because there's a match made for next week. And then after she got the win, she cut a promo. She basically called out Masha Slamovich because she's going after that title. Masha came out there, no talking, just attacks. That's what the world champions do, no talking and get straight to the action. Then Tessa Blanchard came out there to make the save, so they're going to do something. They're going to make a story with Tessa Blanchard and Victoria Crawford. So Tessa Blanchard, she came out there and make the save, and then that's when you had the officials running the ring, had Santino come out there. He made a tag team match for next week, and at first it was going to be Tessa and Victoria versus Masha and a partner of her choosing, but Robert Stone was like, not doing that. You already let Matt Hardy do that earlier, so I'm choosing who's going to be the partner of Masha Slamovich, and it's going to be Nikita Lyons, of all people. You could have gave this spot to Cora Jade or really anybody, but Nikita Lyons. Why that's a different story for a different day. I'm not going to get into that, but I don't understand how Nikita Lyons still has a job when you release people like Dakota Kai, like Jakara Jackson, like Cora Jade. Like all three of those women were not better than Nikita Lyons. But yeah, we get Nikita Lyons on TNA next week, so not too excited about that. Yeah, and then you had a backstage segment with Ariana Grace and Santino talking to Robert Stone, and they're playing more into the aspect of Santino and Ariana Grace being related. They haven't directly said it yet, but Tessa Blanchard hinted at it when she came to defend Robert Stone. So I think they're going to do something with Tessa Blanchard and Ariana Grace soon. I definitely see it coming. Ariana Grace ain't wrestled in a minute, so I think she's going to have a match coming up soon. It won't be next week, but in the next few weeks, I can see her doing some stuff with Tessa Blanchard. She could even do some stuff with Victoria Crawford. I think it's going to play well into this story of what Robert Stone was really doing in TNA. I'm enjoying it so far, and I like where they're going with this. Then get to the main event, a dog collar match for the TNA International Championship. Steve Macklin defended against Eric Young, and obviously the Northern Army was at Eric Young's side. I'm not talking about this match too heavy. It was an uncomfortable amount of blood in this match, and this is the last time that they're doing blading and stuff in TNA, because this is pre-recorded from last week, if I'm not mistaken, because they had made the announcement last week, I think, or not last week, but a few weeks ago. But this is their last taped episode where it will be blood from blading spots, and all the other blood you will see will be actual blood that comes from actual hard hits or spots that go wrong. So thank goodness, because this was uncomfortable. It was an uncomfortable amount of blood. The Northern Army interference, because constantly was pretty stupid. Like, it was I mean, even this as a gimmick match was pretty stupid. Like, I don't know, it was pretty mediocre. And then Steve Macklin, he retained the international championship. So I guess that concludes that story. And next week, Elijah, Ace Austin, Matt Cardona, and Mance Warner will be in a fatal four-way match to determine the next contender for Steve Macklin's international championship. With those four people, that's a good four. That's a good lineup. I don't know who I had winning that match. I think it's going to be a good match. I can see Matt Cardona winning it. He would be a good opponent for Steve Macklin. He would be a good heel for him to face. But really, all four options are good, whether it's a babyface or a heel. But yeah, this episode of Impact, I give it a 6 out of 10. It was nothing spectacular that happened, but it was really nothing terrible on the show. Some of the stories had good progression to them, like the Joe Hendry and Trick stuff. Even the Rosemary story, even though the match was bad, it had a good story. It helped build the story up, so that's why I'm not too mad at it. And then the stuff with Victoria Crawford, Santino, Masha Slamovich, all them Robert Stone, like that story's really heating up. So for the most part, it's still some good story building aspects from this episode of Impact, but some of the matches weren't the greatest. I wish some of the matches were better, so I could have gave it like a 7 or 8. But it was still a good episode. 6 is still, well, I say decent. It was a decent episode. It could have been better, but it wasn't terrible. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment what you thought of Impact tonight. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Let me know why.